we get into the game. Who do you think came out with a better draft before we get this game on start?
I actually like Soniqs draft a little bit more. I'm liking the potential down the line for, say, Ags Lycan on Jug. I think wolf fighting a Jug is always kind of hilarious, especially since, well, Blade Fury plus Jug. And when wolf form just looks on. I mean, I'm all in for morbing, Mike. You know, we talked about the most morb hero. Lycan's one of them. He morbs.
Well, hold on.
In a way.
Last time I was trying to maybe about the morb thing, you didn't let me. You said it was something else.
You know, like the meme, Mike. I can't let the poser go on to that meme. You hate the morb memes.
No, I slowly assimilated, John, but you didn't accept me. You got all high and mighty about it. Like I just joined in. You know, I wasn't there originally with you guys. Like it was a war or something.
Because it wasn't just that you were indifferent, you hated the meme, Mike. You called it stupid. I take offense. Morbius is one of the movies of all time, okay? It's a dead and beaten meme at this point, but it still brings me a smile on that face when me and Neff spam that dance. Dance is beautiful, Mike.
Be honest, have you actually watched the movie, John?
I actually have.
Wow.
I have no strong feelings about it. That's the best thing I can say about it.
I'm so sorry, John. We'll get into game number 1 here. Chalice. You'll go for a bit of a chase here on Tafada. Just a little bit of damage. Nothing to really write home about here, as they are going to see you wire on the Jug, but he probably won't try to contest on the southern end of the bounties. There's a bit of action on the northern end as well. Anna going to stun himself up, it seems, on the Arc. But no real action going on here, John. Just a bit of a trade over the bounty rooms. It is going to even trade anyway. 2 for 2 going either way. We'll start with the top lane here, John. You've got X-Nova and Anna on the Alchemist Grimstroke combination. They're going to get up against, of course, Leslau. On that offlane Lycan and MSS on the pos for Dawnbreaker. John, how should this top lane go?
Feels like it should just be a farming lane for Ana. There's not much threat coming out from a Dawnbreaker Lycan. You've got good damage output from both. Level 2, level 3 is going to feel great for Leslau. He's going to be durable and able to trade. But it's not like you can play with a Dawnbreaker all too well. If MSS does decide to go in, you've always got a stable stun and the unstable concoction to kind of break off the Starbreaker.
He's in big trouble. He's already down. You are able to secure a first blood this early on. And there's obviously the level 1 spin just kicking in there from Yuwa, but I support John. Kaka not going to have the easiest laning stage on the Nyx Assassin. That is certainly a pretty bad start for him, though.
It's a big pitfall of the Nyx. It just doesn't contribute much to lane. It's going to want to soak. It's not as durable as it once was. And you've got this great slowing combination to play with that Blade Fury. Right? Like just Winter Wyvern plus Jug can always be offensive. Chalice, it's going to take a lot of levels for them to even consider playing with a Sprout here. And that just leaves Yuar a lot of room to keep farming. Like, there's really not much to stop him. You can try to threaten with the right clicks from Chalice, but you've always got to worry about Fata finding an angle in to kind of get some damage back himself.
So, definitely a very strong start here, though, for Soniqs. What you want to see if you are on that Jug. Like you said, the top lane, pretty boring as well. Just a farming lane. So how's the mid lane going? Between Quinn and, of course, Somnus, the tiny... It's something with... You kind of mentioned that Quinn shouldn't have that much of a disadvantage here on the Puck, and well, so far so good. He is ahead in CS. In fact, he's top of the CS board now on the Puck. And Somnus appears to be the one kind of struggling here in the Tiny, though. I say struggling, John. He's just slightly behind.
Yeah, it's not too bad for Somnus. He's keeping up there with the denies as well, so slowing down that XP gain of Quinn. Quinn denies off a water rune. Gonna be feeling good picking up his own as well. But Somnus isn't doing too bad. This is still a steady enough start on the Tiny. It does feel like this one, again, the openings for both sides is down to who makes a mistake. If you open up yourself for, say, Avalanche Toss, of course the Tiny's going to find that exciting. And Quinn, if you do overstep on the Tiny, cop a little bit too much right clicks, very easy to melt through that zero armored hero. But none of these mids will make that mistake. So it'll also kind of boil down to a farming lane. There are potentials for rotations, and that's where RNG might shine a little bit more. You've got the Nyx and the Grimstroke, which has much more disables to keep the puck down. But it doesn't look like RNG is going to be keen on doing that anytime soon. Maybe when we hit that 6-minute mark for the power runes, that's going to be really important to look for that movement out. So far, more than happy just keep that stable mid farming and keeping your side lanes farming up as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you speak about farm. Anna right now tops this here. Alchemist having a very good time, and that's not a great sign at all for Soniqs, right? Like you never want to see the Alchemist having a good time of all heroes, and that Anna certainly is. Of course, Yua's doing a great job of keeping up in terms of CS, and he does have that added benefit of getting the first blood bonus, but at the same time, John, you are up against an Alchemist, so chances are you are not going to be able to keep up in farm.
And certainly not. You're just going to have to get that running start in the lane. Try to play around your tempo that's given to you with the Omni Slash, group up as team, play with a healing ward sustain as well. You're going to want something like the Maelstrom here for Yor as well, just to have some wave clear on the Jug to deal with that Nature's Prophet down the line. And that is something he can farm up fairly well. But Challenge is starting to get a little bit room to breathe here as well. It's still not the fastest start for the NP, but he's been allowed to kind of slowly build up. Should have his power threads ready. Teleportation is up, but again, no opportunities to rotate. And all things considered for RNG, we did say this offlane would be a little bit greedier with the Nyx. They haven't been heavily punished for it, I mean, outside of that one death. But Haka's still sort of soaking up. Still a bit slower than you'd want in Nyx, but he's not dying anymore, so that's kind of good news there.
It certainly is. MSS, top lane, really playing around here with X-Nova, but doesn't really feel like he's in any sort of danger. He's now going to join in and try to harass Anna a little bit, but yeah, it's still an Alchemist. He's just perfectly fine. Very slow across the map, though. As I say that, Anna is going to move in. Quinn and Thomas were going at it, but Anna double stun out as well. He's going to be fine, as now they do turn on to the Alchemist. Anna, which way is he going? The Wolf is attacking away as he runs in circles. He'll run towards the west, though. Go for a run away from MSS, but he does have Celestial Hammer. He does avoid the initial hammer, but now the turnaround is there at MSS. Able to secure the kill on the Dawnbreaker. Very important kill to secure onto that Alchemist as well, and what kind of bad news for Anna? Around in circles, they're trying to find a way to shoot them out.
Yeah, doesn't quite find the angle away. Quincy Crew starting to get a little bit more out. You're still not feeling too bad on the Alch. It's still going to take quite the ramp up here for Ana, going into the Solar Ring and Radiance, as we've mentioned, been back in popularity, back on the menu for a lot of players. So stalling out that Radiance time even just by a tad will hurt the Alch. They are getting res down bot here.
Yeah, Chalice, he's in big danger now as well. Yuar getting very aggressive here with Fada on the Wyvern. And it's just such a strong combination between these two, right? Like, you've got the Arctic Burn slow, you've got the Splinter Blast slow, and then you've got Spin from Yuar. In a level 2 spin, it's kind of impossible to get away from if you do cop the combo.
You've also got that phase boots up and running now on Yuar, so it makes it much simpler to keep that chase down with the slow on top. There's really just not much Nyx can contribute here. I mean, it's still a great Nyx game down the line. Just in laning, you can't do too much. And even find X-Nova up top. Diving with the Heat, but you know, you're starting to run here with a Dawnbreaker support.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Dawnbreaker, right? Like, it's just such a... if you're playing this hero, and MSS really just taking full advantage of it. He doesn't even harass Anna. It's one of the great things about fighting Alchemists, right? If you can get a support that can just follow him around the jungle and not leave him in peace, chances are you are going to have a big influence on the game. And MSS so far doing a fantastic job just trying to annoy Anna the best he possibly can. Just getting those creeps away from him, and that's just kind of what you got to do, right? You just follow the Alchemist, just annoy the living crap out of him.
And just ensure that he doesn't get that free ride onto Radiance. Still kind of slowed down here on Ana. Is a bit behind even in net worth. Yuar is actually ahead. They're going to need to buy a lot of space out. Down bot chasing Kaka.
Yeah, Kaka's in danger again. Yuar with the combination. Those Spike Carapace and Impel are going to land, so Yuar unable to secure the kill in the end. A big fight breaking out as Lesnar now in massive trouble. Somnus, great rotation from Tiny. They'll set up onto the Lycan. They are going to let MSS go, but they already got the much bigger target, and they'll be very happy with that, I'm sure.
Get the kill they want. Great rotation out from Somnus, kind of get some activity going and relieving some of that pressure that Ana's been experiencing. They're still doing a great job of keeping eyes on Ana's farm. The Wolves just kind of scouting around. They do have sentries to spot, but Ana's not really able to farm up. The key now for RNG is getting the start on Somnus. He needs that quick blink. He's going for the Midas as well. It's a bit greedier, but they're getting the chase on him.
Yeah, they're going to try and go on Somnus. as well. He'll be there to follow up. There is helping coming. Kaka, he'll show his face to the Soniqs assassin as Thomas. He'll turn around and try to fight as well. Avalanche is there. Well is out as well. They've got the ball. He is gone. Looks like the win as well, but the puck now is going to be just fine as MSS will go after X-Nova with the Starbreaker. Landing the stun. Eventually drop the Quinn. Is able to at least trade, but now Chalice joining the fray, but can't keep up with the puck. So Quinn, he's going to walk away with a double kill here, and I would argue that is in the favor of Soniqs.
Yeah, I mean, you sacrifice your Lycan, but you manage to slow down that Tiny right when we're talking about the importance of Somnus getting his itemization. He needs that Blink, he's going to need a Midas, and they need to keep building up, as you can see again on the replay coming up here. Just a nice little chase back. It does take a little bit more, but they managed to stagger their movement. Quinn being very patient with that movement. He sees the Nyx, backs off right in time, and just doesn't give Kaka an angle to stop him from getting these kills.
Speaking of Quinn, spot of danger there in the mid lane for just a moment, but yeah, a decent team fight to say the least here for Soniqs in that replay that we just saw.
Dire's top tower is
they
under
can keep
attack.
it up. Meanwhile, mid lane, Somnus is copping a fair bit here from Fada, but I won't have enough damage to quite finish the job off. He's just fine to back his way out. So 6-3 so far with a very slight net worth lead. The way of Soniqs, but John, that's great news if you're Soniqs. You're up against an Alchemist, so you can hold the net worth lead. It's going to be pretty damn good news.
Yeah, and you can kind of see where RNG's network's kind of all in on Ana. They've slowed down, and Chalice are extremely behind on Somnus in comparison where they want to be here.
This could be a big pick-off here, John. They can get the Starbreaker, but Ana, he's going to get the Chemical Rage, and he'll be just fine to walk his way out. No chance of catching him. Had they landed that Starbreaker, though, you probably would have been able to follow up.
Radiant's bottom tower
Able to get within range to do it. Meanwhile, bot lane Chalice will try for a TP out. MSS is going to try for the Starbreaker, but it's just not going to be quick enough. The lineup time just taking way too long. So Chalice able to get his way out. In the meantime, both teams going to try and trade those T1 towers, the side lanes. Or at least Soniqs are, Jonathan. Bot lane is being defended by UR. So
Dire's structures are fortified.
he will also be able to get away with the first T1 tower.
TPs are coming out though, RNG not willing to give it to him away.
Avalanche there, Explode, Impel, everything being thrown out onto Quinn, and they do secure the kill. The T1s will get denied off eventually, but a massive pick off onto the puck. Really great news here for RNG. And it's just not that hard to land, right? Like, you've got this Nyx assassin with an Inksword to follow up. It's just so easy to secure the puck.
Yeah, but you can see that's also a bit of an issue. All their control, reliable control initiation, is really on just that one combination. Until that Blink is up in Somnus, you can't really go for the follow-up plays on anyone else. You have to rely just catching one hero up with Nyx. There was a bit of a shove in mid, not quite enough to really fully commit here from the side of Soniqs. And they are starting to give some space here on RNG to just get Ana up and running. Already has that Sacred Relic up. Radiant's not too far off. That's when the farming pace really kicks in. For Soniqs right now, you've got to shut down that jungle, and they are going for a bit of smoke play to maybe at least get some vision out here.
Up towards the north, into that dire jungle they go. Dominant. That's leading them and back his way out. They did have a nice observer to get that vision anyway, so the smoke just never going to work out here for the side of Soniqs. Dominant. Let's think about getting a little bit aggressive here.
What have we here?
Doesn't have anything like a blink up yet, in fact.
Tower is under
Look at
attack.
that item on never mind, there's the blink up now. He just got it off the courier. Onto the Doorbreaker they go, but they don't have quite enough damage. Ruby first is down as well as over. And he takes a nice burst. Gonna hold a few of them back. The tosses are there, but as well, he's still going to the fight. Onto the Tiny. Thomas trying to survive the Quinn. Oh, Quinn's gone down. Nevertheless, in the end, but what's it going to cost them? Soniqs, they'll go for a run as Chalice and Kaka. They'll chase down Fada here on the Wyvern, looking for their third kickoff of this team fight. And they should have him. Sprout is there. Fada, they'll try to juke out towards the east in the tree line. But eventually Kaka should be able to find him if they can land a nice impel, and he will. Very nice blind impel there from the Nyx assassin. In fact, Fada still trying to run his way out third. Can he make it out though? Sprout is available for Chalice if he wants to get the vision. believe the Treants did see Fana flying over the tree line, but they just could not catch him.
Dire's
And
middle tower is
eventually
under
they might
attack.
just let him go. Just don't waste their time with this Wyvern.
Dire are standing.
Not the biggest kill to miss out on. RNG still overall very happy with that exchange going out their way. And you can kind of see them change their tone here. With the blink up on Somnus, they're more than happy to go for their own split from this out. Quinn?
Again, Quinn, they
Dire's
just love
middle
hunting the
tower is
puck
under
down.
attack.
And while Somnus, he makes it look so easy, John. The blink up into the Avalanche Toss and Inkswar combo, you just can't survive that.
No. You're definitely at the peak of that mid-tiny blink timing right now. And, you know, he's having a great ramp up into the Midas. He's actually kind of recovering after a bit of a slower start. Side of RNG now with the 3K lead. Still mainly on Ana. Somnus though.
He's one down, but a nice Avalanche Toss away, like you are. Go for a spin, but they have the cold line to watch him down. The great positives about the Grimstroke against the Jump John is he can just solve one. Chances are he's not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, it's not the biggest ult to blow away. It is a pretty long cooldown at level 1. But RNG is still going to go for that smoke play anyway. Avalanche Toss still ready on Somnus. He's got the haste rune bottled up. They just want to keep playing tempo. They're starting to buy the space out now. Soniqs as well going for a smoke play of their own. So smoke on smoke. We'll see who finds a better flank here.
They've got the Orchid up on Chalice here, John, so it's some decent timing here for RNG. I suppose Leslao does have the Vladimir's offering up, but it's not really a massive timing here
Radiant's
for the
bottom
side of
tower is
Soniqs.
under attack.
So they'll try to pressure that mid-tier 1 tower and force a fight that way. There's a wraparound from the backside here as RNG.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Take it down. The fight is already gone. The Poplar will form and try to force the fight here as the Drink Coil. It's going to land into mix assassins of Kaka. My property gets a very nice impale out into the Orchid. Oh, they've got crit again. They have the damage to follow up. It does seem like they will with Fallen Guardian. The heals are not going to be enough, and Ink comes out on the Alchemist with the jump cut out. But where's your follow-up damage? It's going to prove case of MSS. He's going to catch up onto the Dawnbreaker with the Avalanche. Also, surely you find MSS here, and they will. They even found the duck that you are. He's going to go for the team fight with the Omni Fest. They're bounces through the units. Oh, it's just so unlucky for Soniqs. Nothing going right here. They will go for a sprout out. Somnus, he's still just fine to walk his way out on the Tiny. And I'll tell you, John, for Soniqs,
It's a bit rough going for Soniqs there. RNG, great smoke around the back. It took them a little bit longer to find their target, but they see that commitment on mid. Soniqs still happy with a tier 1 take though. They managed to open up the map a little bit more, and it allows them to be aggressive in the jungle. Still not done though.
Win this time around, able to dodge the Avalanche. Can he dodge the follow-up? They've got the Orchid, and that means he cannot.
Invisibility.
Thanks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think you've got this great game laid out now for Ana, and you've also recovered in your other cores. We talked about how Somnus and Chalice were behind. They're above now in net worth. They're almost matching you war. Somnus is at least 200 gold within that jug. The Midas is starting to pay off here for Somnus, going into the Power Treads next, into his Echo Saber, standard core tiny buildup as you go past relying on that blink. So it's not just the alch you have to worry about, it's also the physical output of your tiny. It's about this NP jumping all over the place. And going back to the alch, it doesn't feel like you have a great answer for his regen out with a Chemical Rage. You don't have a bursty lineup here. You don't have the most amazing way of just eating through his HP, like say Alina Laguna, Lion Finger, stuff like that stacking up on him. Nothing to instantly melt him. So his regen's always going to be in play, and you don't have a natural urn builder here for the side of Sonic. So Ana is just going to be massive every single time in the middle of these fights. The Radiance cuts off their physical damage output. Sonics are going to have to rely on Quinn somehow finding the angle every single time.
Just find a freebie at least. It's over because he's not trying to go through the war down on the Grimstroke, and we'll get punished here by Yuwa. So get a free kill here as top lane. Where are they going? Mid lane, never mind. Onto the Tiny. Somnus is going to get caught and we'll go down. A much bigger kill here. Set up another. Well, that's more like it. Now into the Roshan they go, and we'll see if we can get away
Dire's
with
middle
this.
tower is under attack.
It's a big rush to take. They've got the sustain coming out. They've got the damage necessary with your war. There is ample time to respond from RNG. Respawns aren't too far out, but without the Tiny to jump in, the initiation is lacking for RNG's end. Vendetta is also on cooldown for Kaka, but he does have a blink he wants to play here.
We might have to try this one. Roshan's getting very low. Kaka, we'll see how he can try to set up for this.
Radiant's middle
Lower
tower.
and lower, but they don't have the vision for the curses there. Kaka, he's in, but it's a little bit too early. Can he take that ace away? He cannot. Yuan takes it on the Juggernaut. There's no Anna. He's going to move in. They've got started down for Wyvern. They've got to get the hell out of here. It's not safe. As an interesting pause comes out from Soniqs. Quick Quinn. Pretty bad timing, considering we are in the middle of a team fight right now, John, but yep. Issues are issues, you've got to get them sorted out. But we can kind of talk about the fight now, John. What happens? No Omni slash up, so Anna looks to be safe, but he is charging for stun. Can they turn this one?
It's a bit dicey. Anna's got a lot of duration left in the Spirit Vessel, which MSS did manage to pick up. So you are cutting through from that durability the Alchemist has here. No Manta, no BKB just yet. So it's a touch of trouble here for Ana. Somnus is back in, just TP's up. Still has his blink, full mana, full everything. So there's a pretty good angle for the Tiny to kind of do his thing without worrying too much about the counterplay. It does feel a lot tougher without that Nyx. Like, he's a lot of your control, he's a lot of your counterfight with Spike Carapace and Impale use. So it can be a little bit tougher. It all relies on Somnus at this point. Just find a good blink angle in.
We can have a look at a replay, I believe, of that Roshan fight, and oh, never mind, it's down at bot lane. I mean, X-Nova goes down, but what I'm more interested in is how do they catch out Quinn? Or rather, not Quinn, but Somnus on that Tiny. And, well, there's X-Nova, that was a freebie. We looked at the top lane, that was my fault, Jonathan, calling out top, as it was mid lane we were meant to be looking at. Somnus, yeah. I believe it was just a coil into the Solar Guardian.
Yeah, they caught him out. They coiled him up. He tried to break it, but Solar Guardian still managed to connect and couldn't dodge out the following Starbreaker from MSS. So just kind of overextending, not respecting that team fight play that we talked about coming out from Soniqs. And that was enough. Like, from that Tiny kill, it gave them the time for Roshan. Paka managed to sneak in almost at the perfect time in that Nyx. That was a fairly blind blink in, but just didn't manage to get it on the right tick. And, you know, Soniqs does come out the winner. But they've got to clean up here. If they can focus their resources onto Ana while he's vulnerable like this, that could be the big kill to kind of, you know, set the tempo of the game, start to reel back that 5k lead that Ana's managed to build up. If not, well, Somnus again, if this fight drags on a little bit too long and he walks up, finds a good angle for the Avalanche toss, they're going to have the Orchid up in 6 seconds once more, as long as Chalice lives through. And that can spell a big difference for RNG in this fight. But it does look simpler for Soniqs, especially since Aegis is still up on your war. Even without the Omni, you can just kind of rush your body forward here if you really want to force that issue. You could even force the buyback out from Fata, have him TP up. You don't have the curse, but having that long reach, having that Arctic Burn, Splinter Blast to help control can make a bit of a difference if you feel that commitment is necessary out from Soniqs.
Yeah. Still a very interesting time to have this pause going on. I mean, it's... I highly doubt Chalice is able to survive through this, but I suppose you never know. They don't have really any stuns to throw out onto Chalice right now, so maybe he finds a way out. You did point out the fact that Somnus is moving in on that Tiny very, very soon as well. Thing is, you've got Leslau moving in that wolf form with the Helm of the Overlord up, so he should be able to keep up with Chalice and get the damage out if necessary. And that's another great timing here for the side of Soniqs, right? Like, you win this team fight, you've got Aegis up now. Chances are you can move in through to that mid T2 tower if you really want. It's not going to take too much to take it down with that you have got against the Leslau.
Yeah, once you take that tier 2 tower, outpost becomes yours, jungle becomes a little bit harder to manage for Ana to just farm up in. The Alchemist is going to need a lot more farm to really be sustainable in the front line. We are seeing Ana queue up the AC into Basher Abyssal. Not going for anything defensive. It does feel like there is room here for the BKB. If not the BKB, at least a Manta to take off that Spirit Vessel charge from MSS and kind of run up and sustain through these fights a little bit better. We're getting some word back now. It is a PC crash after Xnova sends the Marcy. So, just a bit of an update. I don't know why the Marcy insinuates that you're asking about something.
Well, no,
it's like Xnova sends the Marcy unless I was like, oh, it's a PC crash. Don't worry about it.
Well, I think what he's trying to imply, John, is nobody said anything. As in Marcy can't say anything, right? So you get it. It was clever, John. That was clever by Xnova. You know?
I don't think it goes that deep, Mike. It's just a smiling Marcy, you know? It's just like, I don't know what else to do here. I'm bored. Let me send out an emote. Yeah, the Marcy one looks good. Let's fire it off.
I think you're underestimating Xnova, John. I thought it was a very clever emote to use there. In fact, I'm going to start using it when we do have a pause in pubs. Wish I could use it in pro, but I'm not a pro player. So sadly, I can't.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can, Mike.
While we do have this pause still ongoing, Jonathan, I feel like I haven't spoken about it this game yet, but how great would it be if Necrobook was still in the game? He would dislike it.
No.
Right? Helm of the Overlord plus Necrobook, John, could you imagine?
Yeah, I can't imagine, Mike. I would rather not. No. No more.
You're always the party pooper when it comes to Necrobook. What happened to you?
Paid in full.
Look, I want to play Dota 2. I'm not here to play, you know, something like I'm not big on RTS. I'm not the best guy in say StarCraft and stuff. I'd rather not deal with that. Okay? So I'd rather just play Dota 2. One hero is all you need. Maybe you get an extra little summon. Maybe you play Mupo because you're a degenerate. One of those two, you know. So I would rather not have to deal with that. I would rather not have to deal with all of that little summons there, Mike. The Zerg rushing. No more 5-man Necronomicons.
What really changed, John? Like, you got Helm of the Overlord now. Did anything really change? You know? Did we just replace one item with another?
It's more manageable. It's not as painful for supports. Remember, Necronomicon, once it's leveled up, it's a free walking gem that you can't really remove. So dewarding was hellish. I mean, the Overlord's still painful, but you know, it's something that you can scale up on, whereas Necronomicon, just that vision. I think that's the most important, annoying part. And of course, great skills. Reconnect's there, though.
Reconnect is there. Dallas, he's going to be able to get out. He just TP's right out of there on the Prophet. They had no stunts to stop it, so he's just perfectly fine to just TP out. No problem. I mean, it was still a decent team fight for them, John. He's going to get a little bit more. Turns out they can't.
Radiant's top
I
tower
thought
is under
maybe they'd
attack.
try to get a bit of a chase on Ana, but they focus in on Chalice instead. So he manages to walk away. Yeah, the debuff, the Spirit Vessel fades away. And Somnus chooses to play safe. He's like, alright, does look a bit awkward to come back in. Chalice bailed out. No need to overcommit. Go back to the farm game. Try to build up the lead. Try to get the value from the Midas into that BKB. They've even got the blink up, and again, we've seen it on Kaka. So they've got more angle for the initiation, not fully, all in and just Somnus getting a good jump and not just overly reliant on that Vendetta. They have some ways to play, but Soniqs should be fairly comfy here. They lose their mid-tier 1, but they still have Aegis. They don't have Omni Slash yet. They know they've got a good cut, although you are.
Kaka, what an initiation out onto 2. Sada's already gone. Luckily you are. He's able to stick his way out of the jungle. Instead, they're going to move in onto Quinn. Sun is not going to land though. He meant to duke it out, but can he duke out the rest of them? Not quite. Quinn's gone. Kaka. It's just a perfect setup on the Nyx Assassin. He's always been so great with these kind of heroes that can just blink in and go for an Earth Spike or an Impale, and where he does it once again.
Radiant's
Finds a
middle
perfect
tower is
angle,
under attack.
gets the right hero, immediately forcing out spell use, immediately forcing out a retreat. They cut off that Winter Wyvern, so there's no threat of counter fight from Soniqs, and without that Winter's Curse, it is pretty awkward to try to jump back in. That's a big part of just punishing the side of
Radiant's
RNG.
middle tower
They
is
will go
under
for a
attack.
smoke play out here, though. Just MSS and bot, just the 2 supports, but they're going to have to watch that tier 2 bot. Ana is ready to still commit. He's not too scared to yell.
CP's coming in though. Kaka might just have to sacrificial land here on the Nyx Assassin, and it seems like that is going to be the case. Kaka, he'll waste a little bit of time, but
Radiant's middle
eventually
tower is
surely
under
just goes
attack.
down as he will maybe try to go for a deny. He's still on the run here, Kaka! Quinn's gonna find him eventually. Eventually. There we go. Kaka's down, but he does get tipped by Anna. You know what, John? If Anna's gonna tip me, I died too.
No, he bought space, you know. Anna managed to back off. They didn't lose much beyond the Nyx. They're still farming up on this Alchemist. A pretty huge gold lead for Anna now at 8k above Yawar, and Yawar still being nipped at the heels by Samus and even Chalice. So the other cores of RNG are still finding space for their own to scale up. And they will go for a smoke play now. Again, for the tiny, don't need to wait for too long to get aggression. Not the biggest man pool here, though.
They got the confident, he will snap the purple. And does go down. Can they get themselves out now? Quinn, he's going to get stunned up Anna. He's right in. Onto the puck, he's already gone. MSF, oh, he's not going to make it. Kaka, once again with the impel can land perfectly. Is RNG. They'll give up Chalice, but they'll find two in response.
Radiant's top tower.
It's a much better trade to buy a side as Carter. Nice little curse there. Might be able to find Soniqs on the Tiny. Plenty of damage coming up from Anna. They try to rob up Yawar. They'll surge him up. Slow him down as Anna. He's going to keep trying to turn this one. And double stun out. Once the two, the Wyvern and the Duggar for the impale. Carter once again with a double impale out. But Anna, he's not going to stick around here in the Alchemist. He does not have the chemical rage up. They get the Omni Smash of Yawar, and still respecting the fact that he still has the Aegis available. But still a great team fight. RNG.
Yeah, they're really working the angles well. Just having this double blink initiation on RNG is helping out the cause. In comparison, Soniqs is still very reliant on just Quinn. Really, it's all about the puck jumping in, getting the Dream Coil. No one else can follow through. You're basically playing with Dream Coil, Solar Guardian. That's where we've seen most of the success here for Soniqs. And those are pretty big cooldowns to wait for. Maybe not the longest in the world, but it's still a little bit more tempo in comparison to RNG just not waiting too much. Impale's fairly short, Avalanche Toss and Tinies, all the follow-up you really need. And it's very low committal, so RNG can just rinse and repeat every single time. Whereas for Soniqs, they've got to wait at quite the interval for them to jump back in. And again, it's all reliant on Quinn just not getting caught out, which is definitely not too hard to do on puck, but it's also not the smoothest puck game to play with. We've seen that impact of Kaka. We've seen that counter pick in the Nyx shape up really well in this match.
Odds are still relatively even considering the circumstances in this game, John. I mean, RNG is still the heavy favorites, but odds not too one-sided. It's Kaka. Gonna miss out on Quinn for now, but Anna is gonna spot him out as Kaka move into the impel and eventually will just land the unstable concoction. Quinn's gone already. Solar Guard. He's not the cave RNG, so they're right after Lycan. Curse is there. Close them down as well. He'll go for a run with the start. Here's down from Anna once again. Onto the Lycan, and he's just gone. On to MSF. We'll take another. Starter. Well, he's not making it either here, John. He's going to drop us. Anna, he'll drop the whoops here, and that's a 4-for-1 trade. The only one to go down for RNG was Kaka.
Under attack. Radiant structures are
Lose out the Nyx, a really big fight to break out there for RNG, and as you can see again, just the angles they found, working on that high ground in and out, using their vision well, and just the mobility they have on RNG in comparison to Soniqs. It just allows them to make these plays every single time. Whereas for Soniqs, again, if you catch out Quinn, that's a lot of your play gone here.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They really are kind of picking them apart here, RNG.
Bottom barracks are under attack.
Looks like they were never worried about that team fight. No matter what happens, no matter how great the curse is, it just doesn't seem to matter. Now RNG, one racks up, we'll move into that mid-T2 tower, and he'll take that as well. He'll drop the coil into the Omni Slash to try to take him down, but he's quite tanky here on the outside. He's not going to drop. Yawar, he's going to back himself out there, and he does keep it for now. Quinn, he's in big trouble. He's gotten the puck already as Yawar. He'll be chased down. The dog is going to be just fine for now. Soniqs, the way out. They'll lose the puck, but that'll be about it for now. You have kind of reiterated how important the puck is to this team, and RNG, they just control the map.
Just able to play aggressive. There's really just a lack of burst to deal with Anna. He's just way too durable on Yalk, and that's him without anything like a BKB, him without the Dispel on hand. He just doesn't need it. He understands he can just stand here and fight. He's got the full Abyssal flying out now, so even more control. Jug's not going to be safe just spinning around there. Yawar's going to have to watch himself, how he plays and dips himself in and out of these fights on top of the Alchemist. And we don't have too much time left till the next Roshan. 10 seconds until we see that timer. And if RNG's lucky, this could open up their opportunity for the high ground. Soniqs does have really good high ground defense here though, Mike, but you are starting to see some of that split push kick in. Like, all the lanes are shoved out in the favor of RNG. Put Nature's Prophet around, it doesn't take too long to kind of adjust any lane to your favor here.
Certainly doesn't. RNG now, understanding how powerful they are, they'll just go for the top T2 tower. Markar, he's having a look around for Quinn once again, but won't be able to find him this time around. He's gonna be just fine to back his way out.
Radiant's top tower is falling.
And eventually, if you're RNG, you're just gonna play it safe. Just wait for the next Roshan. Control the map and keep that net worth skyrocketing your way. There's really nothing to stop them. And well, the next Roshan, it's up in 20 seconds. I dare say Soniqs, I mean, they're gonna smoke up and they're gonna have to try and fight this Roshan, but it's gonna be a rather hard team fight to try and take.
Yeah, if they find a good angle here in Soniqs, say a nice tight area to get a good curse on, to get a great Dream Coil Solar Guardian, it can still shape up your way. Look at RNG. Like, they don't feel too scared. They're smoked up themselves. They're getting some good movement out. They've still got the blink plays out. They've got a gem up on Conka to spot out the vision as well of Soniqs, and they see the Roshan first. They could just choose to go in. Ana's already kind of setting up. They know Soniqs is going to be near the area though, so it can be a bit awkward. And a big Winter's Curse or a big Dream Coil Solar Guardian in the pit might make things turn away for Soniqs if you're not too careful.
See what happens, John. RNG, they haven't completely committed to Roshan yet. It seems like they want to go for the team fight instead. Move in. That triangle of the Radiant. Try and find a proper target, and he's found Quinn. Oh, they found the puck again. Golden Brace is going to save for now, but Quinn, he's going to get stunned up by Ana.
Radiant's middle tower.
Maybe they have saved the day for the puck. Charlotte is going to be there. Meanwhile, though, a curse is out. Down the Tiny. It's not a bad target for Soniqs. They've lost MSS. Can they get this fight going though? Leswell is pulled out as well, but they found Nova. Now the Omni. Not going too much to Jawara. Will go off the car down. It's not a bad team fight for Soniqs whatsoever, but Chalice, he's going to move his way back in. So does Anna. Finds harder. The Kafka's gone. Chalice is gone as well. And suddenly Soniqs. Suddenly they're the ones in control of the Roshan pit. And it seems like they're going to have first dibs.
Yeah, this is huge for Soniqs. They take a great fight there on the high ground. RNG just kind of streaming in a little bit awkwardly. They get a perfect Winter's Curse out from Soniqs onto the Tiny, cutting off a lot of that to disable, forcing them to be reliant on Nyx. And with a Roshan coming out their way, Yawar's going to be a lot safer in the middle of these fights. They get the gem away from Kaka. They're going to be able to spot out the Nyx a lot easier here. Free shard as well for Yawar to play with, so the spin's much more potent now. On RNG, they still have this massive lead, but they have to play around it right. They need to be very, very cautious of the Winter's Curse. They need to find the backline first, and we've seen Ana and Somnus kind of eyeing in onto Font multiple times, but they can't find that Winter Wyvern. If Fonta's positioning is just right, and these fights are still very winnable for Soniqs, and that's something RNG will have to try to prioritize in the backline.
Wow, he was trying to take that outpost back, but Kaka does interrupt.
What?
He won't stick around any longer for it. He's not willing to risk his life just for an outpost. He'll back his way out. But suddenly Soniqs, kind of a breath of fresh air for them almost, as they've got that Aegis up, and now with the 4-man smoke, they're going to have a good team fight for themselves. Can replicate that last team fight here, Soniqs. Oh, and that'll be a great target. They'll move right in. The Inkfall is there. The follow-up is down to the cold line into the Inkfall. Just so much damage with Ana. He's out of get away already. The curse, it's going to lock him down. Can they take him out though? A big avalanche cross combination. Somnus, he may have saved the day that you are. He will not stop chasing up his outfitters. They want Ana so damn bad that Ana, he just keeps running away and will make it out. They cannot keep up with him. Instead they'll take Kaka on the next assassin. RNG thinking about going back into the team fight. They'll cut up Yawar into the Orchid now onto the Juggernaut, but Quinn, he's back in on the Talon, trying to get that laser confidence Ana. Get the team fight going once again onto the front. They found Quinn. That's one down. Then they find Moldo. They found Fana, but
This isn't over.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Your death
Whoa.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's madness out from RNG. They managed to take that fight really well. They stagger out their movement in. This time around, Somnus manages to live through and just gets the damage out for his team.
Under attack.
Soniqs has to respect that time. Every single time we see them going all in and trying to rip through Ana, he's just so durable. He has so much HP, so much armor that it takes way too long to get onto him. And by the time you actually kill him out, a lot of your resources are gone. You see the Chris disappear, Wolf Form kind of fade away. You know, Omni Slash gets blown out early, doesn't even connect to too much there from Yawar. And without that in their toolkit, just provides RNG a great opening. They play on Razor's Edge there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No Aegis up on Yawar this time around, but RNG, they won't overextend. They are going to back off and play this one safely. So Soniqs will have a bit more time to try and figure out how to push this game back their way.
I think I know how, Mike. We're gonna morb! Laslau is going for the Ags. So we are gonna have a morbing Jug. Omni slashing is a wolf. That one looks pretty funny because of the Omni slash animation. It's just a wolf model just jumping around. So I am looking forward to seeing that. I hope Laslau picks it up and we immediately see it in action. There you go. The morb bite is ready. We've got to see Yawar morb and Morby slash all around him and morb all over them, you know? As Neff Sensei would say.
The seeds of fortune.
Let's see it, Laslau. He's gonna hold out for now, John, but we'll see the morbing later on. So now RNG, they'll sit back, they'll relax, and so will Soniqs. I think Sonic's kind of in a position now where you're just kind of waiting for RNG to make a mistake, hoping they move too far onto the high ground and just punish him that way. Though, not giving that opening so far. Sit back and relax himself. Again, it doesn't really feel like RNG in any kind of rush to try and force this high ground. If you control the whole map and you know Soniqs are not farming whatsoever. Speaking of the devil Soniqs, they are going to 5-man smoke up here, John.
This is pretty big timing. They've got the Aeon Disc up and Fata. He's very well protected in Winter Wyvern. The Chris should go off every single fight. That's going to be dangerous for RNG. They have no single target protection just yet. Nothing like a Lincoln's on anyone, only the Lotus Orb up. So if Fata finds the angle, or even if he doesn't, if you commit too hard in that Winter Wyvern to kill it off, that Chris is going to bite you in the bum here for RNG.
Absolutely. Soniqs not quite finding themselves a team fight, but they do get back into their triangle, and it's good enough for them for now. They'll just hold the high ground as they will see Ana. Finn. He'll show him some moment, but he just wanted the creep wave. Make it as hard as possible for RNG to move their way in.
You know, I'm wondering one thing, Mike. You know, with the Alchemist in game, right? Say you get a Roche Ags. Surely you give the Ags to the Alchemist, because he's going to gift everyone Ags. You want to stack up that Ags upgrade on his Ags buff on himself, right? So you give the Ags to Ana, then have him just buy everyone Ags. He's already gifted one to Kaka. I believe. So you've already got the burrow here. He's working onto his secondary axe. That should be for, I want to say X-Nova. It's going to be the big one with the Dark Portrait. So 2 ags down. Is this actually a game where we see an alchemist with 4 gifted ags plus the ags in himself? That'd be something.
It might just be, though. Depends how long the game's going to go on. We'll see what happens. So far, though, only one being given the way of Karkar as it seems like RNG again just controlling the Roshan pit. At least the area around it, but Soniqs back off either.
He gave it to Somnus. They got the tree volley over Dark Portrait here.
Oh, you love to see it, John. What did I tell you? Coil is there. Where Vendetta, he is able to walk his way out of Mana. Running himself up on the outfit, unable to find the initiation. Now the top's up from Somnus. Going to be onto Karka. It's a complete mess of a team fight so far. There is a morbing Yawar across the map though, Jonathan. Your favourite. The Jug is in wolf form now. Problem is, we aren't going to get to see anything happen with it.
I want to see the honest because come on.
Here we go. They all break up. MSS with a free volley. He does end up going down, but now the Omni Flash in the wolf form. It's quite a bit of damage with Somnus. He's not down yet. Karka's around the bar to try and help him out with my Caravan with Somnus. Eventually he is going to go down. Lana trying to move in and find a way back into the team fight, but Karka is getting caught out. So they do find Yawar, but they are not making the jump in with the Juggernaut quite yet. It seems like they are going to allow Karka to go down. RNG on the back foot now with Soniqs. Suddenly getting rather aggressive here.
Tower is under attack.
That's a team fight to go their way, John. Turns out the ads, it's kind of working out.
And it's a lot of damage coming through once you do get that form up. And the timing was perfect for Soniqs. It looked like, you know, we were not going to see anything. RNG forces the fight on that jungle area. They managed to get the timing just right to get the Omni off on the biggest target they could hope for. Clearing out Somnus, forcing out a buyback from Somnus as well. So it's a risky moment for RNG without that buyback on the Tiny. He's not going to feel the most protected here. We're seeing Ana now shift onto a BKB pickup as well, understanding that he's going to need that spell immunity. Curious what he throws away in his inventory. Just tossing away the boots, perhaps, here? And just having that spell immunity on hand or just swapping in as necessary. Roche is up. Dora does manage to sneak a peek into it. They will have the Treant scouting out. But you do not want to give this Roche free. And it does have the free ag, so I wonder if RNG manages to sneak in and steal that.
Roshan getting rather low here. RNG, they're going to make the jump rather soon, but they haven't got any vision over the Roshan pit. Like, they'll let it go the way of Sonic. But once again, they get away with this Roshan. Coil is going to lock down the Grimstroke now. Find him though, X-Nova. Actually, we'll get chased down here by Leslau and his units. Good go as Yawar. The axe upgrade now doesn't have the Swift Slash. Manages to secure the kill onto the Grimstroke. And you know what, John? Suddenly Soniqs, they're not looking too bad whatsoever. I mean, sure, they're 15k net worth behind, but you're 40 minutes into a game now against them. It's time to be expected.
Yeah, the lead of Ana is just down to 3k. That doesn't account for the 2 gifted ags. I don't think it's the biggest disparity in the world for them any longer, though. Ana is trying to gift everyone ags now, so you will have the upgrades on your Grimstroke down the line. Dark Portrait and Jug's gonna be big. Ags upgrade on NP is pretty nice as well. With the Entangle, that could be something that catches Soniqs off guard, and then Ana can synthesize an ags on himself for his bonus damage, which I still haven't had the pleasure of seeing. That bonus 80 damage and 20% spell amp, so I'm keen on seeing that. Like, say, spell amp up, the damage on Unstable Concoction can get pretty ridiculous, especially if Ana manages to hit his level 39 for his level 20 talent with plus 400 Unstable Concoction damage with 20% spell amp. That's 760 plus 20%. I can't do math, but that sounds like a lot to me, Mike.
Yeah, certainly is, Jonathan. I mean, it's give yourself that damage as well. Don't leave yourself out. So we are having another pause, as it seems like Quinn's PC is the... There's always one player, right, that gets the unlucky PC that always just kind of lags for no reason. All the PCs are the same, and Quinn, once again, having some issues here, but should be sorted out very, very soon. Still, John, state of the game, I mean, it's a rather close match, even with the net worth lead going the way. Sonic's still very well into this game, and Do you think there's a point where the Jug just outright outscales something like the Alchemist? Are we already at that point, perhaps?
We're close to it, man. I think when you're within 3, 4, maybe even 5k of an Alec, it doesn't feel like the hero has too much of an advantage. It does feel like for RNG, I think you start to look at Somnus being the key now, right? Like, he's got a lot of output on the Tiny. He's got his Silver Edge BKB, not quite as fully itemized up. As again, they've kind of given all the resources to Ana, but if he does manage to get, say, his Overwhelming Blink up, more space damage to kind of have to toss out with a Tree Volley coming through, I think for RNG, their win condition shifts onto the Tiny. For Soniqs, I mean, everyone's going to hit some major spikes. We aren't at the point where we even have Quinn's level 25. Once you've got that Dreamcoil Piercing Magic immunity, and the BKB of Somnus becomes a bit useless. The BKB of Chalice is gone. An doesn't have a BKB, so he's just going to be whatever. But I think the scaling's less on the Jug versus Alk, more on everyone else against the Alk, because there's only so much an Alk can do. It's a hero that really relies on that net worth lead and just stomping people with 2 items more than the opposing core. You're not at that point anymore. You're barely 1 item ahead of you are. All your gold is being sunk into these additional Ags, which the investment is going to be worthwhile. We've seen the burrows out from Kaka be great. The Tree Volleys, not as much, to be honest with you, here from Somnus. It's not like they have the best way of holding people down for that Tree Volley outside of the Impale. But the Dark Portrait next is going to be big, because you've got the Jug to turn into, or to steal away. You've got the Lycan, potentially, if you get a good Soul Bind off as well, to steal away there with the Dark Portrait. And that can make a bit of a difference, but the Alk does taper off, so Jug should have a great time. I mean, he even has the more bite. You know, it's like, what do you do about that? You don't have a bite on your side. You've got a silly little stone guy who throws trees for some reason, but you know, what good will that be if you have 2 guys morbing around?
You used to love the Tree Volley though, John. What happened to you?
I love it. I love it, but I loved it when you had a Morphling with Ags turning into a Tiny, and then you have 2 Tree Volleys.
Right.
And you can't do that anymore. You can't.
Oh, the good old days. You know, before Morph Earthshaker became a thing, and you know, kind of ruined everything for us. As we are going to come back to us, Jonathan. As I believe the game is going to get underway, sadly. So.
Silence. Here I am.
RNG, you kind of wonder, have they lost a few too many team fights here against Soniqs?
It does feel that way. I think this 15k lead really doesn't count for much at 40 minutes in any longer. The Ags upgrades are nice. It's not enough, as we have another pause coming through. It's a little bit more of a wait, but it's all down to RNG finding an angle. They've got to use that sneaking around they have with Vendetta. Look at Kaka kind of scouting out your war, but no one's around to follow through. If, say, they find this opportunity to just catch one big hero off guard, get an instant kill up, get the teleportation out for BNP, burst someone down, that's probably the best way to go about it. Like that is your best bet right now for RNG, just to pick off into an objective take. Maybe if they had more than just 1 Rax taken away, it would feel a little bit more playable for RNG. As things stand, just 1 Rax isn't enough. We're not seeing that split push kick out from Chalice in a massive way. They've had great enough wave clear to deal with that. And you're just kind of forced to play this farming game and shift their tools around. They do give out the Ags to X-Nova, so Dark Portrait is up. We're only lacking Chalice's Ags upgrade and Ana's now, so he isn't going to build into that, unfortunately, Mike. We're not seeing that 4 Ag stack on Alk, sadly.
It's not that great, John. You know,
it's funny, but it's funny. You spend that much gold for 20% spell amp and 80 damage. It just sounds funny.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. You know, the more Tree Volley is more entertaining, and you know it.
True enough.
RNG.
True enough.
We're going to move in, John. Mid lane, Yawar is going to show himself in the Jug. Now, keep in mind, he does have the Ags on, or rather the Aegis on. So, you don't really want to jump this guy right now, that's for sure. Sparta, though, a much more basic target, I think, with Solar Guardian. Already out, Talon is down, the Nature's Prophet is now the Curse. Gonna hold two of them down. But can they find the damage they really need? They'll find Kafka here on the Nyx Assassin. That'd be one. You are now in that Wolfline form. He's gonna chase down Anna on the Alchemist. They've got the Skadi smoke they needed. Instead, they'll settle for X-Nova. If they can find the damage, and it seems like they cannot. X-Nova able to TP out on the Grimstroke and does barely make it out with his life intact. Still Soniqs. They want a bit more. We'll try and move in perhaps onto Somnus. Not be able to close the gap onto the Tiny though.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Still a decent enough win for Soniqs, forcing the buyback out from Fata, not the biggest deal. They're going to get a lot of push out of this. Issue is, without Omnislash, you might not be able to really sustain up against the full brunt of RNG, but their full defense is gone. They need the Nyx around. Without Burrow, without it, the whole just feels lackluster.
Uh-oh, a lot of TPs coming out here onto the Alchemist. Anna trying to go for a bit of a cheeky split situation, but he's going to get punished immediately by Soniqs. Props to him though, John. He does force everyone back from Soniqs, but he has no buyback available on the L. So he's down half now.
Yeah, it's a lot of time RNG is going to have to try to stall out. With the Nyx around, they can stall the high ground push. Soniqs can easily just shove in a wave though, as we have seen with their Lycan and the Overlord doing a lot of work there. So you should be able to see that opportunity to go once more. They know this is a big opening. Without the Elk, that's a lot of RNG's investment disappearing. It's going to be all down to Soniqs and really Kaka to find the plays, and it's just been so tough. Like, even the Aeon Disc on Fata we mentioned, it's been stalling out, giving enough time to get the Chrysis off, and giving them an angle back in to play with that Wolf Bite onto the Jug, and just getting all the damage off. Like, this Jug is just so strong with the additional crit and the move speed he has right now. You are unstoppable.
You can dig a hole as much as you want, but you can't escape this guy, or maybe you can stop them. We're trying to jump in with the Avalanche Cross, but it's not going to be enough. Tarka's gone once again, and Soniqs, they want to move in. It's the 3 town. Rack under siege now, but they will end up losing the Aegis. It does expire. RNG, they might have a slight opening. They've got 15 seconds without their Alchemist. The mid-Rax is going to drop. No contest here for Soniqs. That's going to be about enough for them. They've still got T2 towers in the outer lanes, so they are going to have to address those first. For RNG, we'll see the game does even out quite a bit. Yeah.
Get a Rax back into their control, so there's a lane for RNG to always watch out for. They shouldn't be too dissuaded by that. They still have the NP, but we're still not seeing that insane split push you expect coming out here from Chalice. Again, there's only so much you can shove out the waves when there's a puck kind of running around, burning down your entire creep wave anyway. So the split push isn't quite kicking in. I mean, Ana tries to stall out. He does buy a little bit of time, but the network lead has completely dissipated. Like, Yawar is #1 in network now. This Jug is out of control, going into the Swift Blink. Another smoke out from Soniqs here.
Great setup. Coil is there to lock them down as well, but it won't matter too much. They don't need to smash the ball. Father's back perfectly. Somnus. He doesn't need to get his CKB off his time. He'll try to go to the P fight, but Yawar, he's right behind him. In that wolf form, it's just so... Nice impale. Yawar, he'll keep the chase going, but they will miss out Nyx. It won't matter though, they do end up finding Somnus, and that was actually a dieback on the Tiny. He doesn't have buyback gold either, so he has got no chance of getting back into this game. As now Anna, he has been spotted out. Quinn, he's going to find a great target for his team. The Solar Guardian is going to fly right through an Anna. And eventually, should just drop here. Not going to work out in his favor. He's down once again, Jonathan. Still no buyback gold.
Yeah, this is a really dicey spot for RNG. 2 years with no buybacks, a minute and a half until they're back off as well. Again, one blessing here for RNG is that Sonic still has 2 tier 2s to go through, but they could just bum rush the tier 4s at this point. There's not much to be scared of. Kaka will have to play out of his mind to stall this out as much as possible. And we are seeing Chalice trying to split push, breaking up the group up of Soniqs quite nicely. But the opportunity still stands. And RNG, we've lost the lead. This is looking scary. Soniqs managed to hold on long enough that the Alk is just not a factor.
going to try and threaten him as much as possible with that Dark Fortress, but ultimately it looks like he's going to be just fine. He'll pop the wolf fight once again. But it is wasting quite a bit of time here. Chalice, meanwhile, down a bot lane, or rather top lane, does end up going down. Buyback is there from Chalice. That'll be enough. Soniqs, they're not confident. Keep going. Get a bit of damage onto that mid-tier 4 tower, but that's going to be about it. They'll back right off.
That's pretty good hold from RNG. They've managed to stall out for their 2-4s to come back in. Kaka with just a mana burn and the Impale's coming out in the burrow. Does sap away from Iwar, so not giving him enough mana to play with a spin, or even just a swift slash in that circumstance. Rosh is coming up in 20 seconds, a big one for both sides, and feels like it's make or break for RNG. If they don't manage to find that Roshan, I don't know if they have enough to stop a Aegis Jug. If they have enough to stop Iwar onto that high ground, onto the tier 4s with that protection.
Roshan spawn up now. RNG. You're very well aware of the timing here for the Roshan, but it's going to be a matter of whether you can actually go for this team fight. And chances are they won't even have time to get there to be able to contest this, as Roshan is going to go down way too fast, I think, here to Yawar and Quinn. We'll find it, no problem. The Refresher Shard as well as the Axe Blessing will come out here for Soniqs. The Axe Blessing as well as the Refresher Shard. But why the hell not? Suddenly, if you're RNG, John, 13k net worth behind, it's really bad news.
Yeah, it gets pretty tough for them to play. I think the big issue for RNG is just a lack of team fight in comparison to what Soniqs has. I mean, they have Dream Coil, they have Winter's Curse, they've got even the Solar Guardian can be really impactful out from MSS. And for RNG, it's really just Impale, Avalanche, Toss. Maybe a good leash out from X-Nova with a Soulbind and Dark Fortress, but that's it. The control is just not as shining as for Soniqs, where they can jump in, they can commit all this control, they can follow through their jug, they can morb away as much as they want, and RNG just lacks that wide control in these team fights. So, again, they have to play to their strengths here for RNG, they have to play the pick-off game, but Soniqs has not given them room to play pick-off. They've just been clumped up so hard, they've got a lot of ways to stall. And even the split push from Chalice, it's not even really coming through. All the lanes are shoved in Sonic's favor for the most part.
Up again here, RNG. Maybe they could find themselves a pick-off and try to go from there, but
Radiant
for now, they're just kind of focused on pushing out those lanes and buying a bit more time for themselves. With the eyes of Quinn. He's able to back himself out with the TP. Naturally level 25 NP. Just constant TPs away. Kind of one of the beauties about RNG's drafts is the fact that they can keep this constant split push going with this Prophet. The Soniqs. Up the smoke. Wolflight is there on Yawar, and they are going to charge forward. That's high jungle. It's not going to be too great. It won't matter though, because they still find the kill on the Tiny. On to the nature crop. They found Chalice. Neither hero has buyback. This should be the opening Soniqs is looking for.
Should allow them to go high ground. Honest trying to split push down bot, but TPs are in. Not be able to get much here.
MSS there to defend. Make his way up. And it's scouted out, but they had no stun available. Not on Quinn. Nevertheless, back into the mid lane, Yawar. He'll keep it going. Anna, to jump in. Onto the Leslow, trying to take that Lycan down first. Yawar, he'll be there to help out though, and Anna, he just doesn't have the damage anymore on his outpost to really get this job done. With the Soulbind, it's going to hold him down a little bit with Quinn. He's going to make the jump up in. The Solar Guardian to back him up. They'll focus down Cartel. He's will find him. No problem. Anna. We're trying to slip with the best he can. Soniqs back onto the high ground. Do they just go for T4 towers? Quinn, he's back in once again. Under Anna and Tata. They found the Nexus Sap with the Brimstone to lock him down and make sure he cannot make his way out. He just goes for the Nyx straight off the bat as Anna. He's going to find himself a target, but nobody's around to aim. Anna He's a sitting duck on the Alchemist. Surely no way out of this. He'll keep the fight going though. Keep trying. Take somebody on Soniqs down, but eventually he'll be the one to go down. Because he'll commit a buyback and try one more time. But now with this double wolf fight going on here from Leslau and Yuwa, you can't fight this. GG. RNG. It was a great start to this game number 1 for them, John, but Soniqs, they just kept in it, kept the coming, very patient, and eventually they pull off the game 1 victory.
Well on the side of Soniqs, they hold on, they manage to hit those spikes, and they play really well with their toolkit. I think the big issue for RNG in that mid game were those cold embraces and the winter's curses coming out from Fata. Like, they're all physical. They have a tiny towards that late game. The avalanche toss is not going to burst anyone off. They're relying on the right clicks. You have an Alk who's all in on physical as well. So once the cold